Our children are being taught things that they shouldn't be taught. Our children are being hypersexualized. We've all heard about drag queen story time. Now, if you ask me as sheriff, will I stand up for the rights of drag queens? Absolutely, if they're citizens of my county, because I want to be everybody's sheriff. But where I draw the line is when they go to young, impressionable children and they engage in behavior that's sexual in nature. That's where I draw the line. And so people say, well, what would you do about that as sheriff? Well, that's simple. Again, I get back to the analogy of evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. I would have posse members that are vetted, that are teachers, that have experience, that would go in and do story time with the children. And my thinking is that the reason that drag queens do that is because nobody else is. Now, I'm not saying that drag queens don't have a right to do story time. What I am saying is that there should be other options for our children. And when anybody, drag queen, anybody else, acts in a sexual way in front of young, impressionable children, that's where I draw the line. That's where we need to stop it. There's other issues in our schools. Our children do not learn appropriate things that they need to learn. There's pornography in our libraries. That stuff should all go. And there's actually laws on the books in Oregon that make that appropriate, or it is, I guess, if I took those books off the shelf and handed them to a child in a park, I could be arrested for a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
But if somebody does that in a school or somebody does that in a museum, well, that's an exemption to that charge. It's a defense. Well, it shouldn't be that way. So in that case, I think the sheriffs collectively, all of them in the state of Oregon, should stand up, contact our legislature and say, if you do this, you are harming our children. This needs to stop. Because our sheriffs are chief executive officers and they represent the voters. I believe if all of our sheriffs spoke together with one voice, I don't see how our legislators could not listen to them. But that's not happening. And the reason that's not happening is because most of our sheriffs come from law enforcement. That's all they know. And since they're brought up in that environment, they view themselves as top cop, as a glorified chief of police, and not fulfilling the role of chief executive officer. That's what our sheriffs need to do. And that's what I would advocate for as Clackamas County.